some issue with your penis?
If Corona made one mistake, it was to not show him who she is. You've been hoodwinked.
Natalia accused James of cheating. It's never been seen until now.
Hello, my Panda Pals, and welcome back to the channel and to another recap. Today I'm gonna cover what happened on The Other Way Tell-All Part 2. This tell-all was only a two-parter, so after this one, we will be wrapping up this season with a neat little bow. So, let's get started. We are back with Corona and Ingi in the hot seat. Now, if you don't remember, Ingi said his piece and then dipped, and Corona called him a punk-ass bitch.
So he gets to say his piece and he doesn't want to listen to me. So he holds no accountability because he's a weak-ass bitch and everything on that screen is a mother lie.
Sean is like, hey Sarper, we know you called your little Icelandic bestie earlier. What did you guys talk about?
I said, she's saying bad things about you. Come and say your word. Let's learn what's happening.
So Sean has Sarper step away, give Ingi a call to see what the heck is going on. And Josh is just like, listen, I'm sure he's just nervous about being in front of this entire firing squad. And Shekinah's like, I mean, you're a little bitch, and even you took it like a champ.
I think he was probably afraid of just being tag teamed and...
You took it?
We all know we're gonna be in the volcano at some point.
Over in Iceland, Ingi's friend Gume is like, what's up, bro? Why are you out here in the hallway and not in that room getting ripped a new asshole? Sarper calls him and he's like, bro, what the heck? You told me you were gonna speak your truth. Why are you running away like a little baby bitch?
I just spoke what I wanted to say, and I'm sorry if I disappointed you.
And at this point, Sarper is on stage with Ingi on speakerphone, and Ingi goes on to talk about how he told his side of the story, and now he just can't handle seeing Corona, who was a person that he loved, be completely different, and blah blah blah, boo-hoo-hoo, goo-goo gaga.
I think I told my story.
We don't know what happened in US, for example, when you came here, you know?
Just hang up, that's all you're gonna get.
Ingi is like, I can't do it, man. I wasn't built for this. As if anybody else on that stage loves being ripped to shreds based on heavily edited versions of themselves and their relationship, and then Ingi hangs up, leaving only Corona to give her side of what happened in the US.
He's checked out.
That's so unattractive.
Yeah,
He's not a real man.
I admire you all guys, like you guys.
We don't admire you.
Corona says that she started thinking about coming back to the US after her meeting with the director of the midwifery school. And she tells us that since all of the textbooks she got were in English, she just kind of assumed all of the classes in Iceland would be in English as well. Obviously, that was not the case.
I filed a K-1 visa.
He said that when I came to US, she was not the same person that I left.
Corona says that so much was going on in her life at this point, especially considering she was in midwifery school, and Ingi was a man who couldn't even handle taking care of himself.
I had like so much stuff going on in my life. And then he said, oh, well, now I don't have any confidence because you're not obsessed with me anymore.
On one hand, I do understand Corona was probably in a heightened state of stress being in midwifery school, but to say that Ingi couldn't handle being by himself when he is in America, in a place that he's unfamiliar with, where he has no friends, like, I don't think that's exactly fair. So I guess the two of them were having a conversation on a park bench where Corona was like, listen, I go to therapy and I think you should too. And then Ingi got up, he sulked around, and then he apparently just left forever.
I never saw or heard from him again in my life.
Oh, whoa.
Didn't answer any of my texts, literally just walked the out of my life.
James says something pretty insightful, and he's like, well, you guys were just in vacation mode when you were over in Iceland, and then when he came to America and you got to resume your normal life, he just couldn't hang. Again, I do think it's a little bit more nuanced than that because Ingi was in an unfamiliar place with people that he didn't know. But yeah, I do feel like a lot of these couples, when they go to visit their significant other, they take time off of work, they have 1, 2, 3 weeks off, so they have a lot more time than they normally do, and they tend to spend more money than they normally do. Which is why I think it's such a rude awakening when they bring those partners back to America, they resume their normal day-to-day, and they are completely different. So production tells Sean that Ingi is not coming back, but his friend Gume does want to speak on his behalf. So Gume comes on the screen and he's like, listen, Ingi was very emotional and he just couldn't deal with people talking shit about a situation that they don't understand.
If Corona made one mistake, it was to not show him straight away who she is really.
Corona is like, I don't even know what that means. I literally never yelled at him. I never got mad at him. I was still me. I just showed him the normal range any human being has.
If it wasn't an issue with her anger, what was it?
I mean, it's like he's been saying here. It's the perception that she was not the same person.
Gume says that it was the fact she was so confrontational. And he mentions that if Corona had been that way through the duration of their entire relationship, Ingi may have been able to learn how to deal with it, but it came out of nowhere. It happened so suddenly that he felt like he had been hoodwinked.
But this far in, it's like you've been hoodwinked.
He did not get hoodwinked. If anything, I got hoodwinked.
Corona obviously does not agree.
He truly experienced what the future would be, and he backed out of it.
Sean then brings on Corona's mother, grandmother, and sister, and to nobody's surprise, they all hate Ingi.
He didn't seem like he loved Corona. It was like, okay, yeah, I just never liked him.
Her mother says she didn't like the fact that Ingi made zero effort to get to know her family, and he was just overall way too corny. Sean then asks Gume why he thinks Ingi walked off, and he's like, I don't know.
What do you think the reason is?
I don't know. I don't know his insight.
You got too many I don't know, so I don't even know why you there.
I love the amount of sass that is coming from all of the women on Corona's side of the family.
He was just a wuss. And I felt like he was using my daughter for, I'm just gonna put it out there, he was using her for her money.
Saying that Ingi was using Corona for her money is a stretch. Gume is like, listen, lady, they both paid for a ton of stuff for each other, so that doesn't really matter.
I can say with 100% certainty that he loved her.
I don't think so.
Punk, wimp.
Since Ingi won't come back, there's really nowhere to go with Corona, so she's getting off pretty easy and her segment ends. I mean, sure, she doesn't get to rip him a new butthole like she wanted, but she also doesn't get a new butthole ripped into her own body. Before they move on, Sarper has some parting words for his lovely little bro friend.
I just wanted to defend you, and I just wanted you to talk, but you escaped. I'm sorry, but Corona is 100% right. I'm so sorry.
Now it's time for Joanne and her super hot husband, Sean, who also has just officially gotten his green card.
Are you here permanently?
Plan is to come here permanently. I just have to talk to my daughter first and see how that goes.
Sean tells everybody that his daughter Bella thinks that he's currently in England, and everybody's like, oh my God, Sean, another lie?
She would kick my ass if she knew I was here without her because she's been like, I want to go and see Joanne.
You're still keeping a secret from your children.
Oh, that's totally fine. I don't think that's a big deal. It's not as big as, hey, I got married 2 years ago without telling you, say hello to your new mom. Granted, I do not know if it's not a big deal because it's not a big deal, or if it's not a big deal because Sean is super duper hot. I am trying so hard to keep his pretty privilege in check, but it is difficult. I mean, have you seen the man? Anyway, Sean says that him moving to America would be the easiest thing for everybody because he has full custody of his daughter. So the good news is that he is not planning on abandoning her.
So how long are you here in America right now?
I don't know.
You guys are like allergic to planning, and I love it.
Sean welcomes Donna onto the screen, and Donna's like, listen, I understand why my daughter likes Sean so much.
He's a handsome man. After meeting him, I know why my daughter hopped the pond so many times.
She says she doesn't blame Sean because, in her words, Sean wanted her to know, but Joanne was the one who wouldn't let him say anything. But his face over here tells us that is absolutely not what happened.
Where you gonna live?
We're gonna come live with you so I can listen to this every day.
Things are definitely very icy between these two, and Shekinah steps in and she's like, whoa, Joanne, your mother, she is a lot.
Like, if this was my mom, I probably would want to keep some things from her, too.
And then Donna is like, listen here, Barbie, you do not know my relationship with my daughter well enough to have any opinions, okay? So why don't you get off my jack?
You're a mom yourself. You were gonna go move to Turkey and leave your daughter behind?
And Shekinah is like, okay, if the gloves are gonna come off, let's go ahead and take them off, bitch.
You're shoving your opinions down her throat,
No,
acting
not.
like she's entitled to tell you everything when you actually have to earn that as a parent.
Shekinah then reaches in and then pulls out a little something something straight out of Sarper's book of insults.
You're talking too much. You're talking too much.
Corona chimes in and she's like, dude, Joanne, are you really gonna let someone talk to your own mother like that?
She just came for me about my mother.
After a comment you made that had already made her upset.
Shekinah's like, listen, I'm just spitting straight facts, okay? The woman is too much. And Corona is like, girly, look at this stage. Look at the man sitting right next to you. We are all way too much.
Thank you, Corona.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys can be friends.
Sean tries to diffuse the tension, and he's like, listen, this is just two mothers protecting their daughters. I would be the same way about my daughter, too. And Shekinah is like, okay, well, what is Donna protecting Joanne from, huh? Your rippling pectorals? Sean gives Joanne a chance to speak, and Joanne says her mother and her are close, and they do tell each other everything. However, her marriage to Sean was something that she did not want anyone's opinion on.
If I would have said to anyone, hey, Sean and I are getting married, they would all, what? What do you do? I didn't want to hear that.
Joanne says that if she could go back in time, she would do things completely differently. I mean, she still wouldn't have told her mother about the marriage, but she would have absolutely told her kids. But she wouldn't have told her kids before they got married. She would have still told them after she got married, just, you know, sooner than 2 years later. So essentially, she would have done nothing different.
I definitely would have told them sooner.
But not before.
No. Like, we don't regret what we did.
Which is kind of upsetting when you think about how much their decision hurt their kids. Anyway, the two got married, everyone knows now. Well, you know, almost everybody.
And your father knows.
No.
Joanne, get your shit together. Joanne starts to get emotional, and she tells us that she knows her mother's personality, so she knows how to handle her. But her father is a completely different story. He's a very quiet guy, he tends to hold everything in, and he would have just imploded.
I'm gonna tell him, but I feel like that's something that is gonna have to be a him and I moment.
Corona is like, wait a damn minute. Isn't he gonna feel real crappy when he finds out that he is literally the last person to know?
100%.
So it's easier to tell your mom because you thought maybe she'll just get angry, but your dad, you thought you might break his heart.
She should have just told everybody at the start. Because, I mean, she got married to him in secret because she wanted to avoid all of the fighting and arguing, but all of the fighting and arguing is still happening because they hid everything from them. I mean, at least if you did it before, you would have just had to argue, but now you have to argue and repair all of your relationships. It's time for a break, and Shekinah and Sarper sit down so they can eat their butter. And Corona is like, guys, ew. And Sarper's like, lady, don't knock it till you try it. My pee-pee rock hard all the time because of this butter.
It increases the libido.
You're saying butter makes you horny?
Yeah.
Everything makes them horny.
To be fair, I have the same problem.
I heard someone say that James looks like a little kid who looks up to Sarper and thinks that he's super cool and he wants him to think he's super cool. And ever since then, I have not been able to unsee it. Whenever James opens his mouth, all I hear is, notice me, senpai, ooh. Thankfully, Shekinah brought enough butter for the entire class, and Corona and James take a little nibble.
That's a big bite. How do you feel?
Good luck tonight.
We are back with Shekinah and Sarper in the hot seat, and Shekinah looks super thrilled to be here again. Sean revisits Sarper's text with Dee Dee because he said that they only texted 3 or 4 times, but apparently they texted way more.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Now, I missed it in last episode where they mentioned that these texts between Sarper and Dee Dee happened before Sarper met Shekinah, so honestly, I don't really know why we're bringing these up. The man has literally been inside thousands of women. None of these text messages are important or relevant if they happened way before he even knew who Shekinah was. Seeing Sarper's ripped body is definitely doing something for James, because he's either getting a jealous boner or an admiration boner.
He's in shape, though, I gotta say. Sorry.
Sean is like, Sarper, do you still look like that? And Sarper is just like, oh yeah, I am still jacked as shit.
No, that was all you?
Yeah.
Still look like that?
Yeah.
And Corona is like, ooh, show me, show me, show me.
Let's have a show.
Like, let's keep his clothes on, please.
I mean, it's literally just 2 buttons away from that shirt being off.
Ma'am, porn is free. Leave this man alone. Sean then brings up the fact that Sarper did reach out to Dee Dee while he was with Shekinah, and she asks him why.
Because you want me to find a therapist for our relationship.
You wanted it to be someone that you slept with?
Sarper's like, baby, you wanted me to find a therapist, and I found a therapist. And Shekinah is like, yeah, it would have been nice if you had never been inside of her.
That was not a condition, babe.
I didn't think I would have to say
I found a therapist.
It can't be a therapist that you
Poor little Sarper. He is always in the fucking doghouse. Shekinah's like, put yourself in my shoes, you butthole. Would you like it if a guy who's been inside of me was my therapist? And Sarper's like, no, don't make me imagine it. It's totally different because you're you and I'm me. Okay. Sean does an awkward segue and she's like, so, Shekinah, your nose looks really good. And Sarper's like, oh, yeah, I designed it.
Most people who get plastic surgery don't ask for the other person's input. And of course, he was excited to help.
Sarper, I'm sorry, but you didn't design anything. All you did was draw on her face for a little bit. That surgeon did not listen to a damn thing you said. It was just in one ear, out the other. Sarper says he feels like he rescued Shekinah, as if without him, she would have ended up on the show botched.
Sometimes I'm said I took her from garbage. Not a bad boy. She was going to somewhere else, too much fillers, different.
And then Shekinah tells us that Sarper had her remove all of the fillers in her face.
Thing he's
So your
told me
face
to
now is
do.
fillerless.
Correct, except for my lips.
I'm not buying it, but like maybe it is. If you say it, then I believe you.
Corona. Sometimes, when you have thoughts, you can choose not to say them out loud. Shekinah doesn't plan to have any more plastic surgery, but she is planning on getting Sarper's name tattooed right on her neck.
You're getting his name tattooed on your neck?
Wow.
Don't do the name.
On your neck.
Don't do it.
Corona, let's be honest, you are not the person that she is going to take advice from.
I want it like right here.
Oh, no. I just wouldn't do it. I think that's dumb.
Yeah.
Now, when the man who is 90% covered in tattoos tells you that that tattoo is stupid, I would maybe listen.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
That means you're not all in then.
Every single person that
We move on to James and Tata, and Sean is like, okay, so just like Sarper, you are not allowed to have any female friends, right?
I'm only allowed to have male friends.
Okay.
All of my female friends that I did have when we first met are gone from my life.
So no.
That is still so wild to me. I mean, some of my best friends are guys, and I don't know how I would feel if I had a partner tell me that I can't be friends with them anymore. Like, I completely understand if there are some problems, like if James is a cheater, or if some of those girls are like way too touchy-feely or way too flirty, like then I can understand setting some boundaries and maybe saying like these specific people make me uncomfortable. But to just kind of blanket the entire gender, I don't know. To me, that is a little wild, but I mean, if it works for them, it works for them.
Why you need to talk to this woman? That's not for a job.
I shouldn't be talking about our personal life
Yes.
with any other woman.
It is important to be able to speak to your partner about your relationship issues. However, I do think there is some value in James being able to vent to a third party and also be able to get some insight from a female perspective. Because let's be honest, James can be a little clueless, and Tata does not seem to be the best at conveying her feelings to him.
We need to talk about something that happened a few months back, where Natalia accused James of cheating.
And then Sean rolls some never-before-seen footage for us.
Kayak selingkuh gitu jatuhnya. Jadi dia tuh nonton video joget.
So yeah, I guess Tata went through his browsing history and then she saw that he was looking at these bikini-clad girls jumping around. And so she confronted him about it, and he did not apologize because he did not think he did anything wrong.
If you're looking for someone else when you have a partner beside you, that's cheating.
Listen, if Tata thinks it's cheating, then it is cheating. I don't think it's cheating, but my definition of cheating is not important in the context of their relationship.
Who here thinks James cheated?
No.
No.
Nope.
No.
Absolutely not.
I'm sorry. Ridiculous.
Even Shekinah doesn't think it's cheating. And then Tata tries to defend herself, and she's like, no, it is cheating because he's following these girls on social media. And Corona puts it in the exact ways I would put it. She says, I don't think it's cheating, but if it is a boundary that you set for your relationship that he has overstepped, then you have every right to feel as upset as you do.
Why were you following the women?
Probably because they were dancing in bikinis. I mean, why else would I be following these people? I mean...
Okay, so now Shekinah thinks it's cheating, and she's like, do you think that's a respectful thing to do to your wife? To follow women just because they are sexy? Oh my god, I would hate to be in their world. I'm sorry, but I follow so many thirst traps on Instagram, and like, I consume a moderate amount of adult entertainment. Like, not a problematic amount, okay? Just a normal, regular amount, okay? And I know everyone's gonna be like, that is what people say who have a problem, but I don't have a problem, okay?
For me, I only dated Americans, so like I didn't know that that was something that's gonna be an issue.
Well, I'm American and I would never put up with that.
James says that it took him a very long time to understand why Tata was so upset, but once he did, he deleted his social media and then he gave her all of his passwords.
She has every password, every account. She has access to every single thing and my location.
That sucks.
Sarper's like, if you give a woman a finger, she's gonna want the whole ass hand.
Women cannot understand that. We don't watch it to seeing that, we are in love with this girl. It is just for eyes.
When men look at a woman's body, they don't even see a woman. They just see a pair of tits and a juicy caboose.
Nothing individual, not as a whole.
So you're objectifying women.
Yeah.
James tells everybody that they are planning on moving to Indonesia in the next 6 months, and then the cast takes a break. In the back, James tells us that when Tata found out about the bikini-clad girls, she had threatened to leave him, go back to Indonesia, and threw an overall fit until he agreed to delete certain social media apps. Then Tata comes in, everyone gets super quiet, and Tata's like, no, you guys can keep talking. I could hear everything you were saying.
Can he watch porn?
No. I mean, he can watch it with me.
What?
I think a new door opened for you, James.
Oh please, a new door did not open. Tata will not let him speak to other women. You think she's gonna be okay with him getting a stiffy looking at another naked girl just because she's there with him? Like, no, that's not gonna make it better. It's just gonna make it way worse. Everyone starts rejoicing as if the two have made some kind of huge breakthrough in their relationship, and then they all get back on stage because it is time to roast Josh. Sean welcomes Jared to the stage, and Lily is happier to see him than she has ever been to see Josh.
Yeah, good to see you. Her face lit up way more when she saw him than when she saw Josh.
Yeah, so handsome, Jared.
Okay, Lily, listen, I know Josh sucks, but maybe let's not rub Jared's superiority in his face, cause that just feels a little low. Sean is like, Jared, we all know Josh's issues, but what do you think some of Lily's issues are?
He has some frustrations like, could we stop talking about money? But I don't see her doing that.
Which I interpret as Josh is full of shit and he's accusing Lily of doing things that she doesn't actually do. Sean then welcomes Vivian onto the screen and she's like, we all know you don't think they're gonna last. Have you changed your mind? And Vivian is like, LOL, I don't know. Does Josh still suck? And then she immediately brings up their sex life and Girly comes in hot.
You only make love for 3 or 4 times. Why you didn't her?
Vivian keeps on going, and I almost feel kind of bad for Josh because this has got to be pretty embarrassing, but I hate him, so whatever.
Why don't you my mom? Why? Is there some issue with your penis?
Josh explains that he wants it to be more than just angry banging. He wants them to be truly connected and have it be beautiful and emotional. And Shekinah is like, okay, then why don't you just do that?
Does every time have to be this like storybook? Or,
what about a little
like,
quickie every now and then?
Vivian is like, all I hear are excuses. If you want to bang a woman, you're gonna bang a woman.
Do you consider Josh your family?
Sometimes. Sometimes I think he's cute when we play Lego.
Oh, well that's kind of sweet.
I think Josh is just like Lily's son.
Oh shit, never mind, take that right back. It is not sweet when she's looking at you like you're her baby stepbrother.
A few days ago, you texted me, you are getting divorced.
Did you ask Josh for a divorce?
是的，我说过.
Josh is like, oh my god, I hear her say that all the time. Like, I get that couples get mad, but don't say shit like, I'm gonna leave you, I'm gonna divorce you, you know? Like, that's not a very nice thing to say. And Lily is like, okay, I have a translator now, Joshua, so I know exactly what you're saying.
我的老公和我在一起，他在外人面前所有的之后都表现得很好，可是跟我单独在一起的时候，我从来没有见过他对我的笑脸。
She goes on to say that when they're alone, he continues to tell her some really hurtful things.
因为他对我说 ，I don't care your feeling.
Obviously, Josh calls shenanigans, and he's like, Lily was being really mean. She was threatening divorce, being really mean, and I was like, if you're gonna keep being really mean, then I'm not gonna care what you have to say, because you're just being really mean, you big mean meanie. And Lily is like, oh my god, that is not what happened. We all know that I find it very difficult to believe anything Josh says, because we have seen him cry many crocodile tears and blame their language barrier whenever Lily doesn't fall in line and immediately agree with everything he says.
Lily, what led you to ask Josh for a divorce?
And you will never guess in a million years why Josh got mad. You just won't. Lily tells us that Josh's parents were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, so she flew to America to be there and celebrate with them.
他会骂我说，我拉他的手就紧了，像个男人。
So they get into their typical argument where Lily tries to explain and Josh doesn't listen because he just thinks that if you don't agree with him, it means you don't love him. And then he tells Lily that she's not allowed to stay at the house that evening and makes her book her own hotel room. Josh obviously disagrees.
Josh!
Not once have I ever kicked her out.
Okay, so you're saying you never kicked her out, but you're not saying anything about getting mad at her for holding your hand too firmly. So is it safe to assume that you actually got pissy that she held your hand like a man and not like the delicate, submissive chrysanthemum flower that you want her to be?
She's the one that tells me she wants to leave.
Saying everything that just came out of Lily's mouth right now was a lie.
100%.
Okay, anything you say.
Corona's like, you guys kind of seem like you hate each other, so why exactly are you still together?
I mean, right after the wedding, she says she's never happy again after that.
I admit that's my fault. You know, I need to change.
Points for being able to acknowledge he's the problem, but being able to do that does absolutely nothing for anybody if that is as far as he can go.
Jared, do you think your brother and Lily should be together?
I do. I think they should continue putting that effort into it.
Get out. Get the fuck out of here, Jared. Do not tell these two idiots to keep trying to work through their issues because you are afraid that your brother will never find another woman to marry that'll put up with all of his bullshit.
I don't think Josh love my mom. I think Josh just wants the Asian girlfriend or wife.
I agree. And with that, the tell-all is over. Everyone heads off stage, leaving Lily behind, and the producers ask her if she wants to stay with Josh, and she's like, I don't know. And then suddenly, they pull Josh back onto the stage because Lily wants to have a little talk with him.
I don't like confrontation at all.
We know. We have seen you never take accountability for your actions and continuously blame the other person.
I actually studied verbal judo to de-escalate situations.
The f*** is verbal judo? Is that where you cry all the time to make the other person feel bad that they're upset with you because you are just a giant ball of suck? Anyway, Josh sits with Lily and she tells him that she was feeling super jealous seeing all these other couples holding each other's hands and looking super duper happy.
I need to my husband to take care of me. I have a dream. We are hand in hand, great old.
Get another dream. Please.
Being with you makes me happy.
It does not! Stop lying! Josh is like, even if I'm not smiling, which is all the time, I don't want to be without you. And then he's like, I'm so glad you're opening up to me because we really need to communicate better. We know, you say it all the time. But whatever, Lily doesn't really give a shit because she's got this romanticized idea of what life with a husband's gonna be like. So she's just like, Josh, my husband, my love, let's go for it. As if they haven't been going for it this entire time and just absolutely failing.
We got it.
No, you don't.
We can do it.
No, you can't. The two hug each other and say goodbye. Josh gets backstage and Sean is like, yo, Josh, f your wife, eat some butter. And that, my Panda Pals, is the other way, all wrapped up. What a freaking ride. All of these couples would be significantly happier if they were with other people. Well, except Joanne and Sean and Shekinah and Sarper. I do actually think that they have found their forever people. And Joanne, fuck you, because Sean is hot and I am jealous. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Do your girl a solid, click that subscribe button if you are not subscribed yet, and give this video a big thumbs up, and let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this entire mess. I hope to see you for the next one, and as always, thanks for not letting me ride this train wreck alone. Bye!